a man realized something that frightened him. He wasn't excited about anything anymore. The sentence arrived one Tuesday night. Out of nowhere, he was sitting on his bed, phone in his hand, television running in the background. He wasn't really watching it. He wasn't really scrolling either. He was simply existing. Then the thought arrived. When was the last time I genuinely looked forward to tomorrow? He sat still, because he didn't know. He genuinely didn't know. The question stayed in the room. Then he started searching his memory. Last week? No. Last month? No. Maybe 6 months ago. Maybe longer. Then another realization arrived. That was terrifying, because life wasn't bad. That was the strange part. Nothing was wrong. He had a roof over his head, food in his kitchen, people who loved him, a job, a routine. Nothing was broken. So why did he feel this way? Then he said something quietly. It feels like I'm living the same day over and over again. The sentence hit him harder than he expected, because it was true. Wake up, phone, work, phone, dinner, phone, sleep, repeat. Then he laughed, because suddenly it sounded absurd. If someone had described that life to him 10 years ago, he would have said, I'll never become that person. And yet, here he was. Then another realization arrived. Nobody chooses this life. People drift into it, one ordinary day at a time. Then he stood up, walked toward the window, looked outside. Hundreds of apartment windows were lit. Then he had a strange thought. How many people are feeling exactly this right now? How many people are sitting in their rooms wondering where their excitement went? Thousands? Millions? Then he smiled sadly, because suddenly he didn't feel alone anymore. Then he whispered, when did this happen? The answer arrived immediately, slowly. That was the scary part. Nothing dramatic happened. Nobody stole his joy. Nobody took his ambition. Nobody turned life gray. Life simply became automatic. Then he noticed something. He hadn't done anything new in months. The same breakfast, the same route, the same apps, the same videos, the same conversations, the same evenings. Then another realization arrived. His brain was starving. The room became quiet, because suddenly that sentence felt true. Then he remembered being younger. Everything felt exciting. A new game, a new place, a new hobby, a new person. Everything felt alive. Then he laughed, because suddenly he realized something. Nothing had changed except him. He had stopped being curious. Then he sat down, and another thought arrived. When did survival replace living? The room became quiet again, because suddenly that sentence hurt. Then another realization arrived. He had been waiting for excitement, waiting for motivation, waiting for life to surprise him. Then he laughed, because suddenly that sounded unfair. Life wasn't hiding from him. He was hiding from life. Then he said something out loud. I've become a spectator. The sentence landed hard, because it was true. He watched videos, watched shows, watched people succeed, watched people build, watched people travel, watched people live. Then another realization arrived. Watching had quietly become his hobby, and watching is dangerous, because watching feels close to living, but it isn't. Watching is borrowing somebody else's life for a few hours. Then he stood up. Then he said something he had never said before. Enough. The room stayed quiet. Then another sentence arrived. I want to enter my own life again. His eyes watered slightly, because somehow that sentence felt beautiful. Then he looked around the room. Then he smiled, because suddenly the answer felt small, not huge, small. He didn't need to transform his life. He needed novelty, tiny novelty. Tomorrow he would walk a different route. Tomorrow he would eat somewhere different. Tomorrow he would call someone. Tomorrow he would sit outside. Tomorrow he would read 10 pages. Tomorrow he would become slightly less predictable. Then he laughed, because suddenly that felt exciting. Then another realization arrived. Excitement is built. It isn't found. Nobody stumbles into an exciting life. People create one, tiny choice by tiny choice. Then he smiled, because suddenly life didn't feel far away anymore. Then he said something he would remember forever. The opposite of feeling stuck isn't motivation. It's participation. The sentence stayed with him. The next day wasn't magical. The next week wasn't magical. But something changed. He felt awake again. Not all day, not every day, but often enough. He started noticing things. The weather, the sky, the taste of coffee, the feeling of movement. He started saying yes more often. He started trying things. He started entering his own life again. Then something beautiful happened. Tomorrow stopped feeling heavy. Tomorrow started feeling interesting. Then one evening he sat on his bed, the same room, the same person, but a different life. Then he smiled, because for the first time in a very long time, he was looking forward to tomorrow. And perhaps this story leaves you with one question. When was the last time you genuinely looked forward to tomorrow? Can you remember? Or have your days quietly become copies of each other? Because life is not asking you to become extraordinary. Life is asking you to wake up. That's it. Wake up. Be curious. Participate. Move. Try something. Call someone. Go somewhere. Do something slightly different. Because people don't lose excitement dramatically. They lose it quietly. And they don't get it back dramatically either. They get it back in tiny acts of participation. So tonight, don't build a new life. Don't chase motivation. Don't chase discipline. Become slightly less predictable, because your brain is waiting for novelty. Your heart is waiting for participation, and your life is waiting for you. Enough watching. Enter it, because tomorrow is not supposed to be another copy. Tomorrow is supposed to be alive, and that begins with one small decision tonight.